It is looking like it's probably going to be around like high 20s, low 30s. That'll get you through to day number 2. But the game has begun. Let's go. On board with Ramblinnn, another one of our players who's been around for a long time, had a lot of strong results, grabbing the needlessly large rod first. And why wouldn't he? Ramblinnn, definitely known as more of an AP player.
I don't even think this is a bold claim. I'm going to call Ramblinnn the best AP player of all time. Just
You might be right.
With how good he is at AP. He was definitely struggling in set 7, but to be fair, he didn't have that many AP flex options. It was basically just Deja and legendaries, and Ramblinnn really does excel when he does have a couple AP comps to flex around.
Oh wow.
So this set, he has that. AP's not super flex, but there are options now, and Ramblinnn just being an absolute monster out of the gate in set 7.5, his motivation is back. He qualified for regionals through ladder. He has not done that yet. So he's definitely looking to prove that, hey, I am fully back. I am ready for this.
I mean, speaking of being ready and having options, he's got 2 great 2-stars to start this game off in the Leona and the Karma, and Namzi is a mage this time around too. So there's also even a chance to do the big go wide mages with Namzi as well. Pirate's Creed again is the Mirage trait. Interesting. Might see someone go for that. But yeah, we got a Malphite in the shop in case he wants to possibly pick that one up. But looks like it's going to be your typical Astral Econ start, and I guess we'll see where things go from there.
Yeah, I don't even anticipate Ramblinnn playing Astrals from here because he has these 2 upgrades. He has a strong board. He'd have to sacrifice this strong board in order to go into Astrals. So I imagine Ramblinnn really does like to play strongest board whenever possible. He's not going to sell this board and just go Astrals. So I imagine he's going to play around just these early upgrades. He has a very quick reroll. I am not shocked at that at all. None of those fit into anywhere close to the kind of trees he's trying to play into. Of these options, you could consider Battle Mage, you could consider Electro Charge. Battle Mage might be a bit better down the line, but Electro Charge is going to be good right now when he has the upgraded Leona. It's going to go for the Shimmer Scale Heart, actually. He already has the 1 Shimmer Scale unit with the Nasus, then he gets the Jax from the Augment, so now he does just automatically have 3 Shimmer Scale. It is, I believe that's the Gambler's Blade, which is not the best option he necessarily could have gotten here. He doesn't really want to be playing around any kind of attack speed or AD with this AP opener, excuse me.
Yeah, in the very early game, I guess it's passable in that a lot of the damage your team is going to be doing is coming from auto attacks just because the pace is a little bit slower than later rounds. So you'll get that benefit from it at least, but you know, probably not the perfect one, obviously. Has 2 Jade. I thought, you know, we have seen some players try to make a little bit of a Jade stack early on, but again, you know, I don't think that really fits super well with the 2 stars that he's got in terms of the Leona anyway. A little extra gold is never a bad thing.
Yeah, this is definitely his strongest board for now. I imagine his level 5 he'll want to fit in something like Jade if he picks up the Wukong. He did not pick up the Wukong. Nope. That's okay. Jade comes back, trust. Also, he's going to win this fight, and he's going to have to sell bench to make Econ anyway, so he's not getting punished.
Yeah, I suppose. robivankenob, meanwhile, currently 10th place overall with 22 points. Sitting at 100 HP right now in this lobby, at least, with a little bit of an Astral Shapeshifter start. Always nice to get that early Gnar, actually, when you're playing this, because it just makes your team that much more durable. Yeah,
Gnar is just solid frontline in the early game and gives a really nice boost to Nidalee and her survivability. That Shapeshifter trait just does a lot of work for all the units that use it. So, robivankenob, pretty much the opposite of what Ramblinnn is opting to do, and is just going with, hey, the 1-star Astrals, this is all I got for now. We're going to save a bit of HP by slamming some items, taking the level, putting in the Gnar, but did win the first round, is looking to win this one as well. There's a lot of Astral players, and when you have a lot of Astral players, you're going to have some weak players, especially with Rainplosion, who has Astrals and the preparation in the back.
Yeah. See who comes out of the orb. It is a Nidalee. Looking for 1 more for a extra strong early game, if possible. But just looking at the different augments across the board, CHRISTOPHO with Oasis 2, which definitely points to a Lagoon angle. So we can expect that from him. Gurpin with Dragonmancer Crest. Interesting. Okay. So you can cross some of these.
Robivan has the Jade Heart, so is actually opting to level to 5 here to just go ahead and get that in. So he has the Karma, he can get that in, he still gets to make 10. Yes, he still has a 1-star army going, but this board actually isn't that bad because he has the Item Slam, he has the good synergies. He has a Nidalee with the Edge of Night proc is going to be able to survive against this opposing Nidalee. So good setup right now for Robivan, good recognition of how much value he could get from this level, allows him to take this 4-0.
Yeah. Guarantees the win streak continues into the carousel as well. Guarantees that he has the interest rolling. Could have sold something, but obviously it's nicer if you don't have to. VOIDSIN's already down to 78 at first carousel. That is a lot of damage.
With Metabolic Accelerator too, by the way. He's been getting hammered.
Doesn't feel great.
I mean, I've been there. Welcome to open fording. You just accept that you're going to be 56 HP worst case. Sometimes you hit a level 5 at 2-3 and then you're 54 HP. If you're 60 HP at Krugs and you're open fording, sometimes you're just like, thank you, this is perfect, I saved 4 HP, that's all I need. It just be like that sometimes for VOIDSIN.
Yeah, I suppose. Back up to 80 at least. There you go. Augments in action. Meanwhile, CHRISTOPHO right now basically needs to get like first, I think, to make it to day 2. It's not looking great. Talk about Wi-Fi. It picks up an assassin emblem. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Good
so
to know from another game.
Yep, oh, no, I want to follow him because there's a couple different options you could go with that. And Talk About Wi-Fi has been playing at least some Rengar. So you can use that to just be able to fit 4 Assassin and 6 Darkflight on level 7, or you could dip back into the set 7 playbook and go for Assassin Olaf. I've seen that still. It's still good. It's just not as accessible anymore. So if once you can access it, actually might be a little better because they haven't felt the need to balance around Assassin Olaf. So you got a couple options you can go with that. I am curious to see what assassin route he goes because coming from the assassin player, I know there's a lot you can do with that.
We'll have to check in with that board a little bit later. CHRISTOPH right now, as we mentioned, has Oasis going Lagoon, has the Kaisa, you know, and you have an extra Dragonmancer in there and set just to make sure that you can buff that Kaisa just a little bit more. So solid early start. As you can see, it's produced a win streak. And one more win, you'll be able to go into Krugs with that nice little extra cushion of gold. It's always a good feeling.
Oasis definitely a solid augment with the Lagoons, just giving that extra survivability. I will say, him being on a win streak with just the Infinity Edge on Kai'Sa when the Infinity Edge doesn't interact particularly well with her, I think is more of a testament to just how weak this lobby is more than anything. You've got a million Astral players. Besides Ramblinnn, who CHRISTOPHO has been lucky enough to not run into, the rest of the lobby is pretty weak. So you've got these 2 players at the top. You got 3 players at the top, actually, because Robivan took down Ramblinnn, even though Ramblinnn had that pretty strong opener. So you've got these 3 players at the top of the lobby, 100, 196. Look at the HP gap to 4th place. Talk about Wi-Fi at 82.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Such a top-heavy lobby. Okay, we're back on the Demancer Nunu train, baby.
The legend appears. Dragonmancer Nunu. Yeah.
Is this still good? I genuinely don't know how good this is still.
I
don't see it anymore.
I think it is still good. I think it's definitely not as good as it was. I mean, that's because, you know, it was at a point where basically whoever got it just won the lobby. But it's at this point, I would say it's still strong, but it's not overpowered. I don't know if it's necessarily always the best choice to go, but if Gurpin is, you know, an expert at piloting this comp, then it's probably not a bad idea. He's even got an extra spat on the bench too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he can very easily get 8 Dragonmancer in. He just needs to go to level 8, find the Yasuo, or he can play around Dragonmancer Ao Shin, which is actually something I've seen most commonly with the Dragonmancer emblem. It's pretty much the same deal as Nunu, where you want to just get as much healing on him as possible with Hand of Justice and Bloodthirster and then the emblem. And it's not the same deal as Nunu where like, oh, Nunu just noms everything and can't die. It's, oh, he spews rain all over the board and just can't die because he's dealing so much damage and healing so much. So like similar principle, and it was something people were transitioning into out of Nunu in the past. And once you hit like Ao Shin 2, it was just Nunu was so good there wasn't a reason to transition to Ao Shin 1. But I've seen some Dragonmancer Ao Shin 1s do very, very well this patch.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he's going to do. If he's going to try to reroll or if he's going to try to just go up to the higher levels quicker. And yeah, I mean, as you can see... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the 52 HP worries me, is the only thing. If he was
sure.
healthier, I'd be like, okay, he can go level 8. He can go find the Ao Shin. It's 52 HP. You're going to be like 10 HP by the time you do get to level 8. So, good luck.
What do you take here? I mean, Battle Mage is a bit tempting, I guess, with the comp. Celestial, I was going to say, is also just tempting because you can just get that generic healing. Yeah, probably the better just across-the-board choice here.
Honestly,
Dragonmancer now.
I am very down for this Celestial Blessing. It's just even more healing. When you have that much AP on the one unit, it's just get as much healing as possible on that thing. So just more healing. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole idea is that Nunu just lives forever, right? So the more you can kind of contribute, the better. Ooh, Graves and a Hecarim showing up there, but the commitment is already been made. I guess you could pick up the Hecarim and look at maybe a little bit more of a deeper Cavalier angle for the mid game, but I don't know if that would necessarily be better. Probably not.
Yeah,
I haven't played this comp a lot, to be honest. Believe it or not.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of doing that roll down at all. Yes, I was talking about, if he was trying to get to level 8, he's like 10 HP, but Gurpin's also sitting at 13 points. He needs a lot of help in order to qualify, and he's not in a position where, he just needs to like maximize his qualifier points on the day and then he can qualify. He just doesn't have enough qualifier points to do that. So in order to give himself the best shot, he does need to go first tier and make day 2. In order to do that, he'd really have to play into first or 8th and just go level 8. Pray you hit the Ao Shin. I think by rolling there, he just doomed himself to a not first. And he might have doomed himself to not make it out of this day.
Especially without hitting things like the Nunu 2 and stuff like that. It definitely does hurt a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot bit.
Especially with that roll down. If you roll on level 6 and you miss, like, the game is... It's not doomed, but it's pretty doomed. And when you miss on 6, when you probably realistically weren't supposed to, considering your circumstances, I'm sorry, I'm just not optimistic this game.
You know, in TFT, it's really not over till it's over. I actually had a game yesterday where I was at 5 HP. My hand was actually, my finger was on the escape key. My mouse was over the surrender button, and I was like, oh, well, let's just play it out and see what happens. And I, like, miracle won that round, and I ended up taking 3rd that game, which shocked me. I never in a million years would have expected it, but just was able to barely edge it out. So you never know, especially in a tournament situation like this. You don't give up until it's over. You have to push every single ounce of advantage you can find.
For sure. You absolutely do not give up. Even if it looks doomed, I mean, you keep going.
Yeah.
But looking just over at the augments, we got... I'm calling this out because it's my favorite augment because of how busted it is. VOIDSIN got better together, got the free Protector's Vow out of it, which a lot of players pretty much agree. It's one of the best items in the game still, even after it got nerfed. Because just the value of some of these frontline items, Bramble Vest, Dragon's Claw, they're just not as high right now. You can make a Protector's Vow, and it's such a cheap commitment to get just so much tank for your whole team and buy time for your whole team. So, and also having better together and increasing that value, it just does so much. So VOIDSIN hitting a bit of a high roll, finding that Gurpin, even though he rolled on level 6, still recognizing, hey, I'm bleeding out very fast. I just still have to go level 7 and pray I hit something. Doesn't hit Nunu 2, but did find 6 Dragonmancer. Does have a lot of these Dragonmancers upgraded, so he's not in a bad spot in a vacuum. That in a vacuum does ignore that he's 38 HP, though.
Yeah, I think at the very least, again, you'd want the Nunu too, but, you know, we'll see if this is enough to just stop the hemorrhaging of HP for the moment anyway. Going up against the Whale of Peace, who is one of the greatest names in the tournament, for sure.
There's some really good names here. Also, shout out to Gurpin. Like, that's... Yep. I have no reason. I just like that name. It's fun. I like it.
It's just fun. Maybe it's their real life last name. I don't know. Or first name.
You never know.
Who knows?
Oh, hi Taco Bell.
Okay.
Okay, Assassin Lee.
Huh.
I like it. I think.
So you know, he jumps to the back line. Does he, when he kicks someone, does he kick them along the back line or out of the back line in most cases?
I don't know. Let's see.
Because if it's along the back line and you just hit everybody in the back line, that sounds great. If you kick someone out of the back line, I don't know how I feel about it, but he's also positioning the Lee Sin in the middle as well. So I'd have to imagine that probably means it kicks it out of the back line. But let's check it out. No, just jumps right to the corner. Huh.
Okay, it does. No, it does kick along the back line if you get the right angle, and then you don't have. Wait, I like this. Wait, this is so cool. I'm learning. The assassin degen is learning. That's how much fun this is.
I admit I have not seen this before right now in my game, so this is it's a learning experience for me too, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, all right. This is
Assassin Lee Sin. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I am stealing this tech. I am 2020 Assassin Lee Sin. I will see you at rank 1.
Well, it is a little bit easier to make the spatula items. I feel like it's a little bit more accessible than it was for a while, but we're gonna move over to the board of the Whale of Peace. Not a ton of items yet. Interesting. Trying to avoid the orb to keep the clear mine preserved for one more round.
Exactly.
Yep.
And also avoiding just all these orbs in general. He has 69 nice gold, and doesn't have to worry about like picking up these orbs and like trying to make an econ interval. He just has the goal to go level 8 right now.
Very nice.
And roll for a Namzi board. Namzi is a mage this game, and he does have some okay AP items, so he's just playing around that. Has a Spear of Shojin that he can put on the Namzi or the Ao Shin. If he finds the Ao Shin, which he does, finds a second Ao Shin. Okay. Hold up.
How far do you go?
We do not have Ao Shin 2 on 4-1.
We came close.
We came so close. Would not have been prepared for that.
Here comes Assassin Lee Sin, though. Turning on to the Ao Shin now. All right. The Tempest already also kind of nice in terms of just delaying things a little bit. Wow, that Ao Shin just got wrecked. Being able to have the IE with this Lee Sin is pretty nice. That's a lot of damage.
This Lee Sin is actually terrifying. I'm a big fan of this. And talk about Wi-Fi. Got to put in 4 Assassin at the level 7 along with all the Dragonmancers he needs. And I also love this Lee Sin just has great synergy with Kiana. Kiana just disarms, stalls while Lee Sin can get a couple kicks off, and they just both give Tempest. Meanwhile here, we've got the Nunu special into overtime into they tie. Okay.
Hey, we got a Prismatic Augment. All right. Let's go. Best Friends 3,
Best
Dragon
Friends?
Soul. Best Friends is a little bit tempting, but
you know, I'd be totally down for Best Friends here, even on the AP units. Like, it's going to let Ao Shin cast faster. He is going to take the Woodland Charm for some extra frontline, which is also good for allowing the Ao Shin to cast faster. So I'm okay with that as well. Still hasn't hit the Ao Shin 2, doesn't really have the items for it yet, but we will get there.
Yeah, I mean, for now at least, that is going to be a front line that gives the Ao Shin a lot of time to cast and ramp up a little bit. Just going to put in both of them. Why not?
Interesting, sure. Go ahead and put the Shiv on as well. I'm big big fan of that. You don't really have many other items for now. You can always get the Gambler's Blade off later. So it's just another tier item. Yes, ideally you want the Shiv on someone else and then you can get 2 damage items on the Aoshin, but this is not an ideal world. Doesn't look like Whale of Peace is going to be hitting that anytime soon. It also looks like Whale of Peace, unless he hits something good here, is not going to be winning fights anytime soon. It's just getting wrecked since he transitioned.
Yeah, a little bit. Meanwhile, the Assassin Lee Sin still doing work. Takes down the Itis, does damage to Ramblinnn here. Ramblinnn up in 2nd place. So Taco Bell Wi-Fi on a pretty convincing win streak at the moment. All right, Neela too.
Okay, we found the Soam. That's always funny when you see an 8-cost dragon being used to item hold for a 7-cost, but here CHRISTOPHO just had the Lagoon set up, so was using Aurelion Soul, has now pivoted to the Soam. Has the rest of the board, has an upgraded Nyla, and has also found a Zoe, so it's not like he's not even in a bad spot. He's level 8. There's just such an accelerated pace of the lobby at this point. Quite a few level 8s on stage 4.
I was reminded that it's actually Neela. I was saying Nyla as well recently.
Oh, is it Neela?
I just haven't said that champion name out loud for so long that I was just saying it how my brain wanted to say it, and I had to be reminded. But yeah, apparently it is Neela.
Wait. When did Neela get added to League? Because I'm pretty sure I've not played League. Okay.
It was this year.
Okay, well, I haven't played League in at least a year and a half, so that explains why I haven't heard of Neela.
There's this other game in the Teamfight Tactics client.
Are we sure?
Called League of Legends. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, the League of Legends, the Teamfight Tactics MOBA, based on the hit series Arcane Bat Chest.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one. They made the Netflix show, and people are like, there should really be a game around this show.
Yeah. They made Teamfight Tactics, then they made Arcane, and then they made a MOBA based off of Arcane.
There you go.
Exactly.
I can't wait for the Arcane MMO.
Anyway, as we poke around the lobby, there is one augment in particular that I do want to call out. robivankenob has taken egg.
All right. Hey.
Egg.
Yo, I mean, if you're in 1st place, that's the time to do it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It depends on what his board state is. If he is strong enough to not die in the next 7 rounds, which is possible from 81 HP. If his board is weak enough, there's a very real chance that happens, but considering he is 81 HP 2 rounds after having taken egg, he's probably in an okay spot.
Yeah.
But as we're back on Rainplosion, just another AP player in a lobby filled with AP players has hit the Mage Namzi at 2-star with what I believe players pretty much consider is best in slot, the Spear Shojin just to get the casts up, and then Infinity Edge Jeweled Gauntlet as your damage items. So Rain in a very good spot. She is pretty healthy as well. Ramblinn's still at the top of the lobby. Just overall an AP heavy lobby. robivankenob actually taking a win with that egg.
Nice.
At 83 HP, posturing himself to go for that first.
Always feels good. We're going to take a look at Ramblinn's board, going for the Shimmer Scale angle here. Where did the items end up going?
He did end up going for 7 Shimmer Scale. Can't hit 9 without the help of an extra emblem, but just opting into that vertical Shimmer Scale route. And yeah, it's also just playing around the Shyvana and the Jace core. This Shapeshifter core is something it's most commonly played with Xayah, but this is a core that players will use just on level 9. This is a core that Ramblinnn is using here. Shyvana is still a good AP item holder, so Ramblinnn AP flex. He's the best at it for a reason.
I like it. It is a little bit on the unique side. Seems to be doing okay for the moment anyway. robivankenob trying again to keep the HP high, waiting for the egg to hatch. And Shyvana turns towards the Jade statue. Does happen sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what? Not a bad loss for robivankenob. It's functionally a 5-unit loss with the 2 dragons. So not too much HP lost. He'll be happy with that. Go into the Treasure Dragon. VOIDSIN playing the Graves again.
Nope.
Passes that one up.
What's it gonna be?
This one you could consider with Rageblade Titans, but the lack of sustain doesn't feel amazing. He's going to opt for it just so it's an okay roll. You just don't want to spend too much gold when you're trying to go level 8. You're trying to find this Graves 2, which he has found the Graves 2, really trying to find these upgrades.
That is big to be able to actually
the Graves 2.
Yeah, that's pretty big to be able to slam the Graves 2.
Yeah, if he had spent a significant amount of gold, he wouldn't have been able to level and find that. So, just opting to say I'm not gonna have a real third item on this Graves is, I kind of like that he's keeping the slot open in case he gets a better third item on Carousel. There you have Hand of Justice and the Bloodthirster available. Also, just reforges a Static Shiv, pulls an Infinity Edge. So there you go. That's a pretty good third item.
Yeah, we take those. Graves is going to be in pretty good shape now. I like the Titans as well. Make it a bit more tanky. Oh, we got Jade on the other side for robivankenob. Xiaoyu with the IE and the Edge of Night. Maybe looking for like a Bloodthirster or something like that. Or Titans you see a lot on Xiaoyu as well. But he gets absolutely wrecked.
Yep. This is the thing. This comp, I compare it to Keepers from Set 4. I said that earlier in the show.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
It's one of those comps like you're either going to steamroll or get steamrolled. And in that fight, yep, it just absolutely steamrolled Robovan. But back on the items, I will say, like in a lot of Graves comps, you really want the sustain, but with this comp and the Seraphine and all the shielding there is, you don't necessarily. And having the Titans really helps out your survivability. So as far as no sustain Graves builds goes, VOIDSIN's in a pretty good spot to be in that route.
Yeah, has 2 Protector's Vows online as well. The more of those you can get, the merrier in that comp, it feels like.
So much shielding. Yep. What's a sustain? Never heard of it.
I mean, you don't need sustain if they can't do damage to you. There's just too many shields to chew through. We're going to take a look now at Taco Bell Wi-Fi. Continuing to go with the Lee Sin Assassin angle. That is doing so much damage, actually. He's got a Neela with really good items online, too. And the IE Bloodthirster Edge of Night. Not bad.
Yeah, Neela is basically the secondary carry here, but with good items to do that. Looks like he might have this fight over Ramblinnn as long as the Shyvana does not mess with things. Just one more kick. No, the Shyvana's so tanky.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding. Maybe Neela can clean it up, and she can. Wow, Taco Bell Wi-Fi. That's the thing about Neela when it gets down to these like late round scenarios. It seems like she excels when she's only got like 1 or 2 targets.
Yeah, she can definitely clean up. She can clean up 1v3s in overtime, especially with the sustain from the Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
But for Taco Bell Wi-Fi, this is a bit of dire straits. He's in 7th. Whale of Peace has gone out in 8th. And Taco Bell Wi-Fi took Windfall as his Prismatic Augment. When you're doing that, you basically need to be hitting something super strong unit-wise in order to keep up with the Prismatic Augments of the rest of the lobby. He took that. Is still sitting on 8 Lee Sins. He hasn't found that power spike he needs to off Windfall, so it's just a bit of an unfortunate situation.
robivankenob still trying to make this Jade angle work. And it looks like he will lock up the Lee Sin. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Neela's still there.
Oh my god, wait, that Lee Sin kick killing the Yasuo just clutched out that fight?
Yeah.
So Taco Bell is going to hang on for now. Ramblinnn dipping dangerously low as well, even off that really nice Shimmer Scale early game. So this lobby's starting to really tighten up. Robovan's egg should also be hatching relatively soon. And we'll see what kind of effect that has on the lobby, because we all know that Prismatic Augment can be game-changing the second it hatches.
Yeah, really excited to see what that turns into at some point. But Ramblinnn, right now, if you look at the overall scores, sitting in 7th at the moment with 23 points. So really just kind of needs a solid result. Top 4, maybe 5th is okay. You've still got another game after that to kind of clean it up a little bit. But a 7th here would, you know, if that happens, which I think is unlikely, but if it does, that's a That would start to be a little bit of a scary situation. But 9 Jade online for robivankenob.
Okay, that was a pretty clutch egg, actually. Got Radiant Thieves Gloves, got another Thieves Gloves, and a Tactician's Crown.
Wow.
So, just Radiant Thieves Gloves for a Yasuo, yeah, I'd call that pretty good. I don't know about you.
I mean, look at the items, too, that pop up. It's got the Radiant Hand of Justice, Radiant Bramble Vest. He's going to be doing quite a bit of damage and being quite durable, most likely.
Yeah, and playing 9 Jade as well. This is not a line we've seen much at all this set.
No.
So, it's Xiaoyu, and everyone has their doubts about Xiaoyu, and this fight is not really doing much for them. But if he can hit the Yasuo too, if he can improve the rest of his board, even for a level 9 board, this board isn't great. There's a lot of unupgraded units. He's only on 12 gold, so he doesn't have a lot of eco to work with upgrading them, but if he does upgrade them, he's going to be in a very strong spot.
I feel like there's still a chance, for it to kind of pop off a little bit, but missing any sort of sustain, any sort of like healing item like the Bloodthirster or something on Xiaoyu seems to be hurting a little bit. I feel like that's, when I see it succeed, that kind of is a mandatory part of it, is some sort of self-healing item on Xiaoyu, not just the Jade traits.
Yeah, and I think the sustain is actually super important for pretty much any melee carry, because you're putting yourself in harm's way of all this damage. You basically have to be able to sustain through it. So, like, yeah, totally agree. Missing the Bloodthirster, or even the Hand of Justice, or even a Gunblade, absolute last resort, definitely hurting the Xiaoyu in these fights.
Yeah. Alright, well, that was a Zephyr on the Shyvana. Is it going to matter? Damage is already pretty big as the Shyvana comes in now. Nice knock up to set that up. And Shyvana just absolutely roasting the enemy team. Seems like that'll be enough for Ramblinnn. I don't think the Vlad is... Oh, maybe not. Oh, it's so close. Skarner? Alright, I was going to say. I was confident in the Shyvana, but I started to doubt a little bit at the end there. That was close. Talk about Wi-Fi out in 7.
Yup. You read my mind. My thoughts exactly. That next time I get an Assassin Emblem and I'm in a spot for that, I'm going to do that. It looks like it has a ton of potential. I see the angle. I see the thought process. Respect to Taco Bell Wi-Fi. I'm stealing that tech. Thank you.
I think what kind of frightens me with it a little bit is that in a world of strong AoE damage, the Lee Sin, doesn't offer much of that. And I wonder, as the fights go on, as the game gets going a little bit later, if that ends up being impactful, that your two carries are not totally single target, but for all intents and purposes, pretty much single target damage.
Yeah. And it be like that, and I think there's some merit to just picking off the opposing carries, but there's so much like guessing and positioning involved in that.
Look at this roll.
It can get hard. So we'll move on to gurpin, who's doing a big level 9 roll down and has not hit much of anything so far. You can see how fast he's rolling. It's because he's not hitting the things he needs. He finally found a pair of Alshins, and okay.
There we go.
So what's a caster blessing? That's what it's called?
I mean, caster bless is the opposite of the caster curse. That's right.
Yeah, caster blessing. Oh, I said he's missing everything. Suddenly hits 3 Alshins in 3 shops. Yeah, that makes sense.
Level 9, you'd kind of you'd have a better chance, but that was a frontline Alshin, and they do not thrive in the frontline. Is it enough to kill? No, not quite.
He's alive. That is actually where these Dragonmancer Alshins have been positioned. They're in the front line just so they cast as fast as possible. And then they do so much damage because they have so much AP from 8 Dragonmancer that they just sustain through all of it. I'm not a fan, though, of it having space between the rest of the front line. I generally like seeing it like next to some other frontliners, so it's taking damage, it's taking aggro, but it's not getting completely blown up, especially in this scenario where you don't have the second sustain item. You have a sustain item and then a Titan's Resolve. The Titan's Resolve is going to help with survivability, but you don't have as much capability of sustaining through everything.
Okay. Well, frontline now still a little bit separated, but a more cohesive overall front line here. Pantheon not connecting with that Alshin, which might end up being pretty impactful later on, but gurpin needs to win every fight if he wants to stay alive. It's a battle of 5th and 4th between Ramblinnn and gurpin. Whoever loses will take the 5th.
Well, there's the power of the Dragon Mancer Alshin.
Yep. Did Ramblinnn win his round? Looking at the right side. Waiting. Okay. Now looking at the fight.
Looks like he is. Cool.
We got
5 still alive going to 6-3. A bunch of low HPs. VOIDSIN, gurpin, Ramblinnn surely all on 1 life. Robivan potentially 1 life if the loss is bad enough. Rainplosion as well. Rain finally makes it to level 9. And this is such an AP 8-cost dragon heavy lobby. And honestly, anyone could take this right now.
Didn't find the Zoe 2. Decided to just sell. Now he can move the Zephyr around. Zephyr could be the difference maker between a 4th and a 5th here for Ramblinnn.
Who is he going to hit the Zephyr on? He's going to hit the Zephyr on the Alshin. That's huge.
Nice. That is big. How much can he kill before the Alshin comes back down again? Nothing drops. Here comes the Tempest now. Oh, I don't know. This is looking a little bit scary. That Alshin is not taking a lot of damage. The knockup does come in from the Shyvana, but the Alshin is dealing it out. Yeah, I think that might be... That might be about it.
Wow. Good Zephyr on the Alshin, just hoping you can kill something before it comes down, and then everything can turn on it. But that's the power of 8 Dragon Mancer Alshin too. Even when it comes down, good luck killing it. And then, once it actually casts, everything dies.
Yep. Speaking of dying, robivankenob out in 4th, despite having that long streak, despite having the golden egg hatch in his favor, barely able to sneak into the top 4 of this game.
Honestly, I'm not even considering Robivan's board besides the egg and the boards of the rest of this lobby. Him getting 4th is actually kind of chill. This lobby is just so absurd. Rainplosion now has a Nomsy 3, has now a Bard 2 and a Zoe 2 just waiting to be combined in the shop that she cannot even make at the moment. So... Rainplosion really strong as well. A ton of 3 stars. This is a lobby Doa.
It is, and I love it. Like, what better way to end our day than a heavy AP lobby? That's what I like it. Then our day. There's still one more game that Casa and Crowan are casting after this, but this is our last one for the day. It's a good one to end on. The damage comes in.
Oh my god, the Alshin died. Gurpin just got destroyed.
That was...
VOIDSIN dead as well,
a double
too.
kill.
That's a double kill for Rainplosion.
Wow, Rainplosion again. With a super strong result in this lobby. And that ended so fast. Wow, that's it.